You want to get some better post-workout results? Change up your way of thinking, okay? When I look back at myself and the muscle magazines that I used to read, and they used to tell me, you need to eat at this specific time and you need to do this right after your workout or all your gains will be lost. It doesn't matter. That stuff is null and void. We have science, or we have evolved in how we look at post-workout nutrition. So what I've got for you are the 5, what I would say, most common post-workout nutrition mistakes. I'm going to tell you how to fix them too. I'm not just going to tell you you're doing something wrong, because we've all been doing something wrong, myself included. Let's get better. And after today's video, I put a link down below for some stick packs. Actually, you know the company, it's called Create, but that is a 50% off, like legit 50% off creatine stick packs. They're 5-gram stick packs and they're sweetened with monk fruit, entirely fasting friendly, so you can have them during a fast. I promise you they will keep your appetite at bay, but they'll keep your energy high. So if I'm fasting a lot, my calories are low, 10 to 15 grams of creatine throughout the day. I spread it evenly in like little water bottle sips throughout the day. I just sip on it. Those stick packs make it kind of easy to just sip on throughout the day because I can put it in a water jug or whatever, but my strength stays high even in a fasted state. So again, that link is down below, 50% off Create creatine stick packs. They still have their gummies too. Those are super awesome, but these sugar-free stick packs are even cooler. So again, link down below in the top line of the description. Number 1, let's throw away the anabolic window. Throw away those muscle magazines, if anybody even reads them anymore, because they're just trying to sell you more protein powder. End of story. Okay. We used to think that you had to eat 30 minutes after your workout, no more, okay? Because that's how we are going to get the most muscle growth. Well, let's look at a different study that shows this in a different light. The Journal of Applied Physiology completely got rid of the anabolic window because they took a look at 2 groups. Both groups consumed essential amino acids along with a little bit of sucrose. So a little bit of basically protein and some carbs. And one group consumed it at 1 hour after the workout. Another group consumed it at 3 hours after a workout. Well, guess what? They both had the same amount of muscle protein synthesis. 400% increase. They had a big increase at either 1 hour or 3 hours. So you don't need to eat right after your workout. As a matter of fact, if you're trying to build some muscle and you're also trying to burn some fat, if you eat right after your workout, you're turning off the fat burning that occurs after a workout, the afterburn effect, the post-exercise oxygen consumption. So don't get rid of that. We want that. It's awesome. It's a little extra fat burning at no cost. Eat 2 hours, 3 hours after your workout. It doesn't really matter. The next one, number 2, is having antioxidants right after your workout. Now, I don't want you to freak out and think that a little bit of antioxidants that's in your spices or something is gonna mess you up. I'm talking about deliberately taking antioxidants. And the reason that this is common is because, once again, I remember myself reading forums on how to get the most out of my post-workout. Oh, take echinacea, take vitamin C, because here's what happens. Okay, you work out, you create all this stress, and you need to have this antioxidant come in and fight the stress for you. That's the problem with our world today. We want everything to do something for us. We don't need to take a supplement to fight the oxidative stress that is occurring from a natural workout. Let your body figure out how to deal with it and adapt and get stronger and better. And there's data to back it up. There was a study that was published in the journal Free Radicals in Biology and Medicine. Okay, this is fascinating because it looked at subjects that were taking vitamin C after their workout. That was me. That was me. Used to want to take like 4,000 or 5,000 milligrams after my workout. Okay, and they found that, their muscle recovery, the amount of overall muscle damage actually that was still there, was just as much as if they didn't take the vitamin C, if not even more. There was more reactive oxygen species, or at least an equal amount. So what's going on? Well, vitamin C, for example, will liberate free iron. Okay, and if we have too much iron in our bloodstream, which vitamin C can allow, that can trigger reactive oxygen species or oxidative stress. That's not saying vitamin C is bad or iron is necessarily bad. But if your goal is to try to blunt oxidative stress after a workout with an antioxidant, you're just going to lead yourself to another situation, another cascading effect. So you're better off to just allow your body to deal with the stress itself, which leads me to another study that's going to convince you of this. This one was published in the Journal of Medicine and Science and Sports and Exercise, and it looked specifically at vitamin E, but the story around it is all-encompassing. After a workout, we still have stress occurring. We know this. And part of the benefit of this stress is that it signals our body to create more mitochondria. Why? Because the body says, wow, that was tough. We need to create more ability to deal with that. It's called a hormetic stressor. We're getting stronger because of a stressor. So our mitochondria says, oh, let's go through biogenesis, and it creates more. Because your body says there was stress, I didn't have enough energy to overcome that stress. How can I create more factories to overcome that stress in the future? So enter mitochondrial biogenesis. Well, guess what? Vitamin E comes in and says, don't worry, I got it, body. You don't have to deal with it, I got it. It's like you've enabled your body, okay? You've enabled the mitochondria to never think for itself because you're always throwing a dang antioxidant in there. Just eat your protein, do your thing, let your body do the rest. Okay, number 3 is going to be being afraid of small amounts of fat post-workout. It's not a good idea to combine a bunch of fat and carbs. Okay, the mitochondria doesn't like it, the body generally doesn't like it in a lot of ways as far as spiking insulin along with fat. But you don't have to have carbohydrates post-workout. You can have some protein. You can also have a little bit of fat with that protein. I wouldn't recommend having a bunch, but people tend to freak out. They don't want to have their fats with it. I am in favor of having like lean meat or some kind of omega-3 along with your protein shake to a small amount, because omega-3s can stimulate what's called the phosphorylation of P70S6K, which triggers a big increase in muscle protein synthesis. But additionally, if you are someone that doesn't mind having fats with carbs, there is a lot of evidence that shows that as far as your post-workout is concerned, the fat isn't necessarily going to slow down the uptake of the carbohydrates into the muscle. You can still get the carbohydrates into the muscle as muscle glycogen, get that recovery, even if there's some fat in the equation. I don't typically recommend fats and carbs combined, but for those of you that do low carb post-workout meals where you have like a shake and nothing else, don't be afraid to add some omega-3s in there because it'll actually help. So a little bit of fat's not going to hurt. For example, like grass-fed, grass-finished meat generally has a lot of omega-3s in it. So much so that it could lead itself to being a slightly better post-workout meal. Then it comes into the next one, which kind of feeds off of that. Do not take an NSAID, a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, or acetaminophen, or anything like that right after your workout. It does not help. There has to be specific therapies for that, and some sports injury doctors know how to do that properly. Don't take it into your own hands, because what ends up happening is you end up blunting what is called the prostaglandin F2 alpha response, which is not just me trying to sound smart, I promise, because I had to research this myself and I'm not that smart. This prostaglandin F2 alpha plays a role in how the muscle fibers essentially fuse together when it comes down to multinucleated muscle cells. Long story short, somehow, somewhere, ibuprofen and things like that significantly impair muscle growth. And then there was another study that looked at it even further. They just looked at it flat out. Placebo versus non-steroidal anti-inflammatory after a workout. And they measured muscle protein synthesis a day later. Yeah. Guess what? Those that took the ibuprofen had significantly hurt their muscle protein synthesis. It has an effect on these different pathways that will affect your overall muscle growth. Don't do it. And the last one that I want to end on isn't necessarily a mistake. It's what people do kind of flip-flop from what they should. I know a lot of people that'll take essential amino acids or they'll take regular branched chain amino acids pre-workout in an effort to not break down their muscle. I understand why they do that. But you should be having those post-workout, if anything. I don't necessarily say you have to, but if you have it pre-workout, you blunt some of the fat burning effect. If you have them post-workout, there are studies that show that adding amino acids to your protein that you consume, so if it's a protein shake or if it's some extra amino acids in a glass next to the steak you're eating, that can improve the muscle protein synthesis by 6-fold. By having aminos with your post-workout meal. So don't have the essential amino acids or the branched chain amino acids before your workout. Those, if you're going to have them, should be at the end of your workout along with your post-workout meal. Flip-flop it and don't do both. Pick one or the other, but you really should have them stacked at the end. Anyhow, as always, keep it locked in here. I'll see you tomorrow.